Hi, my name is Chaplain Alan Tanner, and this is Healing Love Ministries, and we are presenting Why Are We So Divided Right Now? I don't know if you have noticed, but there is a current cultural climate that is, let's say it seems divided. And we tend to be incredibly distracted. It's not even just right now, though, but at any human point in human history, for humans that are called to live not only on purpose, but to live united. There are two enemies of living on purpose and living united, and they are distraction and division. Why? Because distraction is anything that takes away from the task of the moment. A distraction is anything that takes me away from what I ought to be doing and what you ought to be doing right now. Man, do we live in a distracted era, don't we? A distracted culture. In the last 10 or 20 years, I cannot think of anything that's been invented that has not contributed to all of our distractions. We are kind of like distraction-making machines as humans. We can get distracted by anything. We can get distracted by chores. Let me ask you if you've had this situation where you need to get something done and you have to focus on this purpose because it's important or it's necessary. But then all of a sudden you think, well, I need to do the dishes right now. No, you don't. If those dishes have been sitting in that sink all morning, then you don't really need to do them right now. And it's kind of a sense that we can allow anything to distract us from what we ought to be doing. But distraction takes us away from living with purpose. Again, so I'm going to say, distraction is anything that takes us away from what I ought to be focusing on in this moment, that ought to have my attention in this moment. Anything other than that is a distraction. So, like my circle of interest is really big. I want to know about this person's life and that thing and that what they say about that and what they say about it and what they say about this or what they say about that. And I can get very distracted by my circle of interest. But my circle of influence is much smaller than my circle of interest. Oftentimes my circle of influence, and that is where I need to focus on, my circle of influence. That is my responsibility. And so beyond that, most things are simply distractions. And so here we are living amidst a culture that thrives on distractions. Let our minds go after the next shiny thing, and there's a huge supply of shiny things, isn't there? So I need to focus on my circle of influence, and I need to live on purpose and fight against distractions. But also one of the greatest things that we are called to do is that we are called to live in unity. And yet we seem to be relatively divided. This is the division that has taken place in our culture and in our world and in our country and in our families. And so how do we fight against division? We fight against division by conversation. We fight against division by kindness. We fight against division by recognizing what brings us together. It's interesting, I've heard the slogan more than once, and the slogan goes like this: our diversity is our strength. And you know what? That is not actually true, because it's not true. My diversity is not our strength. Our diversity has the potential to be a liability. Our diversity has the potential to be an asset. Diversity on its own is either a bunch of individuals or a bunch of groups of individuals going their own way. But diversity that has been united, well, that's different. Diversity that has been united, well, that is strong. For example, I've watched those sled dog races in Alaska. One sled dog can be really, really strong. You get 12 sled dogs, all different kinds, all different strengths, all different speeds, and that's fine. They can be diverse. But it is only when they are united to a single task that they can pull an incredibly heavy sled for hours, for even days, without hardly slowing down or without hardly stopping. It is diversity that has been united that is strong. Diversity, awesome, great, such a gift, but it only becomes what it ought to become when that diversity becomes united. That's where we get the United States from, right? Each state having its own strength, but coming together to have an even stronger national system. Same thing is true when it comes to our families. Individuals and families on their own are good, but united as a family is even better. Or a small community, a neighborhood, great. Family here, family there, family over there. On their own is good, but united in the neighborhood, even better. A church. That is what is to be. We're supposed to be as Christians, right? God has called us individually, but He has called us also into a community with each other. He has not just made us sons and daughters, but He has made us brothers and sisters with each other. It is from that diversity, united, that this world can be blessed. And so to recover these gifts that we are called to live on purpose and not to give in to distractions, to focus on our circle of influence rather to be distracted by our circle of interest, and to also recognize that it may be important that what divides me, what divides us, is less important than what unites us. In many areas, we have to talk about those divisions. We have to talk about them. Where is reconciliation needed? Where is healing needed? Where is harmony needed? But let us not fool ourselves today that the divisions or the diversity in and of itself is a natural good. It's not. There are some diversities that are good and some that are not so good. There are some unities that are good and some that are not so good. But ultimately, we can only get to the place of unity if we are willing not just to talk, but also to listen. So let me know how you feel about this. Let me know in the comment sections. What are your actual thoughts on this? Because yes, there is too much distraction. Yes, there is too much division. And we are called for living for purpose, called to live in unity. Anyway, let's love God and let's love each other. This is Chaplain Alan Tanner. So take a breath, have a great day. Until I see you next time, God bless.